Hi everyone, in this video we are going to understand how to calculate the space complexity of a recursive algorithm. In the last videos we have discussed about how to calculate the space complexity of a simple algorithm or the algorithm which contains loops. Okay, so they have different methods for calculating the space complexity. Anyhow, whatever be the method, whether you are going to calculate the space complexity for a simple algorithm, simple in the sense that does not contain or that does not involve any loops or any recursion. Okay, that is a simple algorithm. And suppose or whether your algorithm is having loops or whether your algorithm is having a recursion. So all these types of algorithms, they are going to have only the same formula, same method. Okay, and you know for calculating the space complexity you have that formula S of p equal to C plus small sp, and you know that this C is the fixed part or the constant part of the algorithm, and the instance characteristics is represented by sp. So you know about that format. Okay, so in the last videos we have discussed about that two algorithms, and now in this video I am going to take about the recursion method, how to calculate the space complexity of a recursive algorithm. So here what happens, before going into the depth of this algorithm or calculation, I trust that you understand the term recursion and also you understand the term stack. So you know that this stack is a data structure which is used, or the application of stack involves in the recursion. Okay, so recursion means what? It is a program which calls another program. It is a program which calls itself. Okay, so that is recursion, calling itself, a function that calls itself. That is known as recursion. So here this algorithm, this algorithm is the same. The purpose of this algorithm is the same that we had in the last videos, that is here also this algorithm is going to calculate the sum of n numbers but using recursion. Okay, so let us start, let us calculate manually how this algorithm actually performs, execution happens, how the actual execution of this algorithm happens. Okay, and we will be calculating the space complexity for this recursive algorithm. Clear? So before understanding before going to into the depth of this algorithm, we have to understand one more thing. This stack is following one principle, and that is last in first out, LIFO. That means what? The last function which is invoked by the operating system is the function which is executed by the operating system first. Okay, which is executed by the processor first, last in first out. Okay, that is a LIFO. So here this is a recursive algorithm, and you have to understand one thing. When you are going to convert this algorithm into any programming code, what happens when you are going to execute this program will ask you one question initially: how many numbers this array contains. Okay, that means the program needs to have the understanding of the value holded by the variable n. Okay, it must know how many numbers are present in that algorithm, and that value is represented by this n. Okay, so when this question is asked by the programmer, by the program, the user will provide the value for n. Suppose the value provided by the user is 5. Okay, so that means the value 5 is stored in this variable n. So let us see, this value is stored by this n 5. Okay, that means your n contains 5 initially. Hope this is clear to you. And so when this n is equals to 5, your array contains 5 memory cells. That means your array has the capacity to hold 5 different values. Now the next question asked by the program is that enter the 5 elements. Then the user will provide 5 different elements into that array. Okay, suppose those elements are 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. Okay, so that means you have an array which is of having size 5, and the elements which are present in that array are 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. So let us see the representation, diagrammatic representation of that array. Okay, So that array will looks like this. This is your array, and this array holds 5 values. The first is 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, and the array name is A. Okay, and we are assuming that the array indexes starts from 1. So the first index is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So hope this much is clear to you. Now when you are going to execute this algorithm, what happens? The array name is A and n is equals to 5. Okay, so we will be simultaneously draw the recursion stack for this algorithm. Okay, so you know that this is a recursive algorithm, so by default it will be following the rules of stack. So this is your stack. Suppose this is your stack, and the first program entered into the stack is which is the first program called by the operating system first? It is rsum array name A with n. Okay, and what is the value of n here? It is 5. Okay, so this is the program going to execute it. I'm going to execute now. Okay, so when this program is going to execute, what happens? This 5 is checked with 0. 5 is less than or equal to 0. No, 5 is not less than or equal to 0. So it comes to the else part, and what happens? Rsum, in the else part what is written? Rsum A comma n minus 1 plus A of n. So let us put the values which comes there. Okay, so rsum A is your A itself, array name, n minus 1. What is the value of n? The value of n is 5. So 5 minus 1, what will come here? It will be 4. And here A of 5. So that means what? It is pointing to this element. Okay, A of 5 is that element. So how it will be? So what is happening there? When this function is invoked, it is returning this thing. Okay, it is returning. It returns the solution for this much. Okay, this calculation, what is the solution for this calculation? It will return that answer. Okay, so when the when this execution starts, this function is invoked before going to the addition, and before happening this A of n. Which function is invoked? There is a calling, there is a recursive calling. Okay, this function calls itself rsum. Look, the same name is given, rsum, and here also rsum. That is what this is known as recursive calling. Okay, so rsum, it is calling rsum for the formal parameters A comma 4. So now the next function invoked is rsum A comma 4. So it has to, so when this rsum A comma 4 completes its task, that answer plus A of 5, that answer gets added, and then only you will get the answer for rsum A comma 5. Clear? I will show you with examples. Okay, so when this is happens, what happens? This is calling itself. So here your rsum A comma 4 comes. Okay, this is your n value, and n value is 4 here. So the if condition checking happen, 4 is less than or equal to 0. No, 4 is not less than or equal to 0. So it will come to the else part, and what is returning? Return rsum A comma 4 minus 1, n minus 1, that is 4 minus 1, and that is a 3 plus A of n, and here what is n value? It is 4. So A of 4. Okay, so this is what happens. So this function calling is happening. So the third function calling is rsum A comma 3. So this function calls itself rsum with different values for n, and that is 3. Again, that if condition checking happens, that is false, and else part works. And here it returns rsum A comma 2 plus A of 3. Okay, that is happening. And rsum is, this is calling itself. So again this function calls itself, and it comes here rsum A comma 2, and that if condition checking happens, 2 is less than equal to 0? No, 2 is not less than equal to 0. So it comes to the else part, and in the else part return R sum a comma n minus 1. And what is the value of n right now? The value of n is 2. So 2 minus 1 means what? 1. Okay, so that means it is returning R sum a comma 1 plus a of n, and n value is 2, so a of 2. So here also again this calling happens, this function call happens. So after R sum a comma 3 a comma 2 calls, and when a comma 2 is called, it is calling itself with another parameters a comma 1. So this stack is growing, you know, and this function is again calling itself with two different parameters, R sum a comma 1. And what happens? The first checking happens, n less than equal to 0, if the condition is false, so else part comes. So else part, in the else part what is given? R sum a comma n minus 1, and here n is 1, so 1 minus 1 is 0, and plus a of n, here n value is 1, so a of 1. Okay, and since it is calling itself, so that means another function call happens with value a comma 0. Okay, so a comma 0 happens. So the if condition checking happens. Here the number of elements n is 0 right now. So if condition is true right now, n is less than or equal to 0, that condition is true right now. Okay, so it will be returning 0. So it will return 0. That means this array, this stack grows by like this. Okay, and it is returning 0. So it is returning 0 to where? Where this value is returning? This 0 is returned to where? From where it has been called. Okay, so this R sum a comma 0 is called by which function? That is R sum a comma 1. Okay, so there it will return that answer. Okay, so this value 0 is returned to this function. This function R sum a comma 0. So there what happens? The value, this function returns 0, and here that addition happens. 0 plus a of 1. And what is this a of 1? 0 plus a of 1 is this one. Okay, so a of 1 is 10. So 0 plus 10 happens, and it returns 10. So that means this a of 0 returns 0 to a of 1. Clear? It returns 0 to a of 1, a comma 1. And this a comma 1, after this calculation, this whole sum 10 is returned where? From the where this function is called. Okay, that 10 is returned to the function R sum a comma 2. So here 10 will come, and a of 2, what is a of 2? It is 20. So 10 plus 20, so that is 10 plus 20 means what? 30. Okay, so this 30 is returned to where? This 30 is returned to the function which has called this function R sum a comma 2. So which function called R sum a comma 2? R sum a comma 3. So let us draw here. So this 0 is returned to a comma 1, and from a comma 1 10 is returned to a comma 2. Okay, and a comma 2 is returning 30 to this here. So here 30 will come, and a comma 3 means a of 3 means 30. So 30 plus 30, that is 60. So this is the value 60. So that means this a comma 2 returns 30 to a comma 3, and a comma 3 returns 60. Where it is returning? This a comma 3 is returning 60 to a comma 4. So this 60 comes here, and a of 4, that means 40. So a of 4 is 40. So 60 plus 40 is, what is that? It is 100. Okay, so a comma 4 returns 100 to whom? A comma 4 returns 100 to this function here. It returns 100, okay, to this function. So here this is 100, and a of 5 is 50. This is pointing to this. So that means 100 plus 50 is 150. Okay, so that means this 150 is returned to the address from where the function rsum a comma 5 has been invoked. Okay, so you can see the changes. How the first function entered into this stack was rsum a comma 5. Okay, so when you called rsum a comma 5, what happens? In that function it is calling itself but with different formal parameters. Okay, there the value of n has been changed from 5 to 4. Okay, and that is what I have written here like this, rsum a comma 4. So when this function, it is a function, so it calls itself. Okay, so it is calling another body, another code, so with the value a comma 4. So that happens, likewise it will call. Okay, and what happens at the end? It has reached to rsum a comma 0. Okay, so this is the last function invoked, but that function is solved first. And what is that function solved means what? It is returning answer, so that means it has been solved. Okay, so this rsum a comma 0 is returning 0, the value 0, to the address from where it has been called. Okay, and from where this rsum a comma 0 has been called, this function has been called by rsum a comma 1. Okay, so that is what happens. This a comma 0 returns 0 to a comma 1, and a comma 1 returns 10 to a comma 2, a comma 2 is returning 30 to a comma 3, a comma 3 is returning 60 to a comma 4, and a comma 4 is returning 100 to a comma 5, and that is what we reached here. And then a of 5, this one 5, so 100 plus 50 is 150, so that is 150, and this 150 is the answer. You can add it, you will get 10 plus 20 is 30, 30 plus 30 is 60, 60 plus 40 is 100, and 100 plus 50 is 150. So that is the final answer. Okay, that is the answer you should get when you are passing n equal to 5 for this recursive algorithm. So you should get 150 for these values, and that is what you are getting. So this function returns 150 to where? This function returns 150 to the address from where that main function has been called. This is the main function. Okay, and this is recursively calling itself. Hope this is clear to you. Now you have to understand that this is a recursion stack space. Okay, this is a recursion, this is a stack, and it is for having recursion. Okay, and each stack space is going to hold 3 important functions. Let me discuss that. Each stack space is going to hold 3 important functions. Okay, I will be writing here right now. Each stack space is going to hold 3 important informations. Okay, so the first information is the value stored by the variable n, value of n. Okay, value of the variable n, and the second information is return address. It will hold the return address. It requires some space to holding the return address. Okay, it will require some space to hold the value for the variable n. It will require the space for holding the return address. And the third is it requires space for maintaining the pointer for your array. Okay, for pointer to your array, maintaining the pointer to your array. Okay, so these are the 3 informations stored in every stack space. Okay, so you have what is this return address? This return address, when this function is calling a comma 4, this function a comma 5, this a comma 4 should return back to a comma 5, you know. So this a comma 4 must know the address of a comma 5, then only it will return this answer to a comma 5. So that all informations are stored in process control block and maintained by operating system. Okay, we will see that in operating system subjects, or if you want to know more about that concept, you can check internet for PCB, process control block, and all these return address informations. Okay, so for maintaining the return address, that means for holding the value of return address, it requires some space. For storing the value of n, it requires some space, and also for maintaining the pointer for your array, pointer variable for your array, it requires some space. So these are the three informations required by each space. So how many spaces are there in this stack? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 spaces are there, stack spaces are there, and these 6 stack spaces, each stack space contains these three informations. Okay, now we are going to calculate the space complexity. So this is how the execution happens. Internally all this happens. Okay, now what is the purpose of this video? The purpose is to calculate the space complexity of a recursive algorithm. So here, so we have to understand, we are going to assume that this recursion stack space, for holding the recursion stack space, it requires, for holding the each information of recursion stack space, it requires one memory word. That means there are 3 informations. For each information it requires one memory word. Okay, for each information it requires one memory word. That is, for holding this information it requires one memory word. For holding return address it requires one memory word, and for maintaining the pointer variable it requires one memory word. So these minimum 3 memory words are needed for each recursion stack space. Okay, for each recursion stack space. So how many stack spaces are here? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 recursion stack spaces. So 6 into 3, you have to multiply, then only you will get the total number of memory words for this recursion algorithm. Okay, so now we have to generalize this, isn't it? So we say that, so we can generalize it like this. Here the value of n was 5, isn't it? And the total stack height. So what is the depth of the stack? Depth of the stack or height of the stack means the depth. Okay, number of recursion stack spaces. How many stack spaces are there? So here 6 is there. So 6 is what? It is n plus 1, isn't it? So when your number of element is n, the height of the stack will be n plus 1. Okay, and each stack space requires 3 memory words. So there are n plus 1 stack spaces. So how many total memory words will be there? 3 into n plus 1. So when you are going to calculate the space complexity, what happens? You have to focus only onto the instance characteristic part. So we can say that S of P for this algorithm, S of R sum should be greater than or equal to 3 into n plus 1. This is going to be the space complexity for this recursive algorithm. Okay, 3 into n plus 1. And what is this n plus 1? N plus 1 is the stack depth. Okay, and this is and for each stack space you require minimum of 3 memory words. So total 3 into n plus 1. So your minimum requirement for any recursive algorithm, the space complexity for any recursive algorithm, for this recursive algorithm with any value of n is minimum you should require 3 into n plus 1 memory words. Okay, so this is how the stack complexity is space complexity is determined for a recursive algorithm. Hope this is clear to you. Rewatch this video number of times till you understand, and still if you have any doubt you can contact me in person anytime. Okay, thank you for watching, thank you for joining, thank you.